Hi, today we want to talk about Alzheimer's. And we had a client some years ago who came to us through her husband actually with an Alzheimer's condition. And we saw very quickly within weeks that if she changed her eating to non inflammatory foods, there was a big shift. Her family, her friends noticed it, and we definitely noticed it as well.
Well, let me just share a little bit about what we noticed. It's like the first time they came to the door, this is back pre-COVID, people could actually come to your door. And this is when we were in Edmonton. She was very reluctant to even come in the house. Some people, when they experience Alzheimer's, they become very resistant, angry, defiant, and well, sometimes even violent. I wouldn't call her violent, but she was defiant.
Yeah.
And so it was quite awkward that first meeting, but we kind of laid out the plan and they were willing to work with her on it. And the next week she came, not nearly the level of defiance.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it seemed to me it was 4 or 5 weeks. I think Connie remembers it as even being quicker than that. She came to the door and she wanted to give us a hug. She had just opened, it was like this flower blossomed, and it was, what happened?
Yeah, well, what happened was making the shift to a high nutrient, plant based whole food eating plan. And they're finding with the scientific research on the brain now that anti inflammatory eating is the critical pointer that really makes a difference. And they did a recent study with people who were suffering from Alzheimer's, and many of them went back to work. Many of them were able to handle their finances after being on a whole food, plant based, non inflammatory diet, which it is, of course, for a number of weeks. So it really is powerful. And if you're suffering with diabetes, you have twice the likelihood or even more of suffering from Alzheimer's as you age. So it's important to get started right away. And diabetes as well can be corrected with a whole food, plant-based diet.
Yeah, it's interesting. They're beginning to see the relationship between inflammation and diabetes now, too. I never put that together. But I love where science is willing to look at all the little dark corners. Let's see what causes this. How does this happen?
Yeah, and so we really want to support you and encourage you to make the shift. We can help make it so fun and easy. All you have to do is connect with us in the comment section below. We'll set up a free consultation where you can share what your concerns and conditions are, and we'll share what we can offer, and then you can follow your own inner wisdom as to whether or not to work with us. But we've been doing this for a long time. Our own health is remarkably good. We just feel great and have lots of energy every day. Now, another thing they've found, of course, these are all things we've known forever, is that exercise is key. You want to get good exercise every day. That can really help with brain development. And it's great to challenge the brain. That also helps to keep us young and alert. So learn a new language or create a new hobby or
Play bridge,
yeah,
play the piano.
interact with people in a new way. That also makes a big difference. So we really want to let you know it isn't difficult to switch and you feel so good. It is so worth the few changes that we need to make to really take our brain health to a much higher level. So what's the recipe?
We're doing sorbet. So it has been hot here. We are in the peak of summertime here. And what comes with summertime is also a lot of fresh fruit. There's a lot of organic orchards. here in the area. So we've been getting cases and cases of fresh fruit. So at night, sometimes I just want to have some kind of a cold dessert, cold treat. And so I've started making sorbet just out of frozen fruit. So like we went to our friend who has the cherry trees yesterday, and we picked another 20 pounds of cherries, I think it wasn't it? And we pitted a lot of them, put them in the freezer, and then they got frozen, and I just throw them in a food processor, warm them up, and it's just the most amazing, pure fruit sorbet. So it's healthy. It's your serving. It's one serving of fruit in a really tasty frozen treat.
And I noticed you added half an avocado. Tell about that.
Yeah. So I like things a little richer, and of course I'm kind of tending toward old memories of ice cream, and so I like it a little richer. So if you're not concerned with maintaining weight, you can add you can put a half avocado in, like 4 cups of fruit, and it makes it a little creamier and a little richer.
Yeah. It's very, very delicious. We had a friend over who helped pick cherries, and Bill served her the cherry sorbet, and she loved it.
Yeah, it's really good. Oh, we'll put a little other treat in there too, a little chocolate crumble that can go on top.
Yeah. So enjoy the recipe
and
really reflect. What level do I want to live at? What level do I want my health to reflect? And if it's higher than it is now, connect with us and we'll support you to make shifts, letting go of all the inflammatory foods that create so many chronic conditions, and eating food that we look at each other almost every day and say, wow, is that ever tasty? And the body just thrives and loves you for it. So it's a great journey.
Yeah, and part of our journey has been to be able to have the food experience that we had before we went whole food plant-based. That is, so many people think they have to give up this and give up that, and they don't want to. But it isn't necessarily a matter of giving things up as much as it's shifting to a healthier version. It's like the sorbet, I've got my cold frozen treat without the dairy, without the cholesterol, without the saturated fat, without
the inflammation.
Which, it comes without inflaming my brain.
Let us support you. That's what we do best and what we love.
Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us.